Headshot!
Hi, and welcome back to Wounded on Sixes. Today I'm going to be reviewing changes to my Skitari Hunter Cohort List, go over a couple of the new units in the list, go over some of the gameplay that I've had with them, and then basically just give a channel update of what's coming up next. So, guys, I think the Ad Mech are for real. I've played a couple of games now, and I'm just really impressed with their rules. So let's get into the list real quick here. So we have 2 units of Skitari Rangers. One of them is going to be led by a techno-archaeologist. Each one is going to have a sniper rifle in it and an arc rifle in it. So the sniper rifle is going to just help us get precision against characters. The arc rifle is going to help us have some punch against vehicles, and the techno-archaeologist is really going to allow us to kind of screen out our backfield because he has a 12-inch deep strike denial bubble, which is really nice. We then have 3 units of Skitari Vanguard. 2 are going to be led by a Skitari Marshal. Each of the 3 units has an arc rifle in it as well. And then the 3rd unit is going to be led by a Tech Priest Dominus. He's going to give them a 5-up feel no pain, which is really nice, whereas the Skitari Marshals are going to allow rerolls to the hit roll for our Vanguard, which is really nice. Both of our Skitari Marshals are going to have a enhancement. One will have the Veiled Hunters, so we can essentially redeploy even into Strategic Reserve 3 Skitari Infantry units. And then the other one is going to have the Cantical Thrall Net, which is really fantastic. It essentially allows us to pick a Skitari unit within 12 inches, and that has both the Protector and the Conqueror Doctrine. Very nice there. We also have a unit of 10 Rust Stalkers. The Rust Stalkers have gotten really good. And speaking of the Cantical Thrall Net, these guys are an excellent candidate to get that buff because we can put them in Protector and in Conqueror, so they will be hitting on 3s, and they'll have -3 to the weapons that they have. So anti-infantry 3-up as well. So pretty good unit. Very tanky with the Skitari Hunter Cohort detachment, as well as all the buffs from the new Doctrina rules there. We then have 2, that's a unit each, of the Ballistari Iron Striders. These guys are fantastic. The 2 shots they get now really help improve their damage output. And they also have sustain hits 1 for some reason, which is just fantastic when that comes around. The strength 12, the -3, the d6 +1. You just can't beat it. We then have 1 unit of 2 Sidonian Dragoons. These guys are pretty good melee threats, really good at taking out other people's walkers, so that they're anti-walker and lance ability. Don't really have a lot of AP, but if we can get them into the Conquer Doctrine, we can get that up a little bit. We then have, again, mind the non-painted models. I am doing a lot of hobbying lately. We have Belisarius Call here, and Belisarius is pretty good. I'm not really sure if the 150 points is worth it, but I'm still testing with him. He's got a lot of great abilities. Essentially, he can pick an aura ability every turn. One's reroll hit rolls of 1. Another one makes him battle line and then gives us rerolls to our battle shock test. And then the other one is essentially gives us the benefit of cover. I find keeping him in the reroll auras to 1, hit rolls of 1, is probably the best use for him. Although, if you don't have any Skitari near you, you can turn him into a battle line unit, which is really nice, and you can continue to get buffs for the rest of your unit using the Doctrina rules. So he really helps with the Ad Mech layering and gives us like a kind of jack of all trades guy, even if some of his abilities maybe are not worth the 150 points he cost. I also have 2 Armiger Warglaves here. My first game that I played with Skitari, I kind of felt like I was a little underwhelmed with the anti-tank output. Although after playing a couple more games, I realized that may not be the case. So these Armiger Warglaves here are just kind of here for fun. Right now, I may keep one in the list. I may keep both in the list. It really just depends. They perform pretty well. The only problem is they don't get the buffs from the Skitari Hunter Cohort or the Doctrinas. So they're kind of wild cards, although very fluffy for the Ad Mech list. So we'll see if they continue to show up in the list. But they are pretty powerful units on their own. The Melta is really nice anti-tank. And they're pretty good on the charge with their toughness 10 tank shock ability, which is really nice. So, and they have a pretty decent sweep and strike profile with their big chainsaws there. So, not bad. And then, guys, the all-stars of the list, the 3 Onager Doom Crawlers, 2 with neutron lasers, 1 with the eradication beamer. The neutron laser is unbelievably good. It's essentially a little less strong railgun, but it gets 3 shots. And that's just silly. It's just absolutely silly that it gets 3 shots. So, very, very good. And the eradication beamer is not bad too. Much more consistent now with the 2D3 than the D6 shots. And the Cognis stubbers are really good. Rapid fire 3. I tend to get pretty aggressive with my onagers because I want to keep them in range of the Skitari. So, those Cognis stubbers can do some work against infantry. That's really, really nice getting that 6 shots. Sometimes the neutron lasers have 2, so you get up to 12 shots with them. It's a really nice profile. And all in all, this army has just performed well. In the Protector Doctrine with the Skitari buffs from the detachment, I mean, almost the entire army can be -1 to hit in shooting and -1 to hit in melee, which is just absolutely insane. The overlaying buffs of the army are just so much fun to play with too. It very much reminds me of 9th edition Adeptus Mechanicus because your position on the board and where things are matter, and moving in a combined arms way has been fantastic. Setting it up where you have the 3 Doom Crawlers interwoven with the Skitari infantry, and then you have the Walkers and the Knights basically hanging out on the flanks, which is great protection for your flanks. And then Belisarius Call is kind of hanging out behind the line, doing what he can. He's really not bad in combat either, so you can get him involved there as well. And like I said, the Rust Stalkers, I also like to keep them close. They have a lot of buffs as well. And there's a lot of good stratagems for the Skitari Hunter Cohort that you could use. There's one where you could just pick up your Sicarans and put them into strategic reserve as long as they're outside of 3 inches, which is really good. So if our opponent fails to make the charge against them, or they're in a position where it's not going to be advantageous for us next turn, we can just pick them up and bring them back on the next turn. And they're pretty good, especially with that optimized gate being near battle line units. Getting that +2 or advance and charge is really nice indeed. But the Onager Doom Crawlers are just oppressive. I had a game against Black Templar last night where the Templar were just kind of overwhelmed. Although they did some damage, they took out my Rust Stalkers and a couple of Skitari. I think 1 Onager. That was about it. And I had no problem deleting tanks with the neutron lasers and the Cognis las cannons. And then just the strict durability of these Skitari units when they're in range of the Onager Doom Crawler, getting that 4-up. And them also giving buffs to everything else because of the Protector Doctrine and what being 6 inches from a battle line unit does for you. They're buffing the tanks are buffing them, and everything in the list besides the Knights and really Call there can get touched by any one of our stratagems. So it's really, really good, guys. I will not be bringing this to a competitive tournament. I do have an RTT tomorrow. I will be bringing the Tau, and I will have a video out this weekend going over the list that I'm bringing to the RTT. And again, I will be playing Tau, not Ad Mech, although most of my testing in the last week and a half has been with Ad Mech based on these new rules. So, stay tuned. There will be a Tau video along with RTT recap coming up probably on Sunday, since the RTT is tomorrow. I definitely have a bunch of ideas I want to go over with you guys. I have an update to my Monka list. I have a brand new Cayune list that I've been working on. Some new models coming up for that. So a bunch of hobby progress coming up and more videos to come. So if you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. And thanks for watching Wounded on Sixes.